judge in Blake Lively's case just slapped down their psychopathic request for 2.5 years worth of every message that Justin Baldoni and Justin Heath and the PR agents have ever sent to everybody, plus location data. We knew that was going to happen.
As TMZ is now reporting, of course witnesses are staying anonymous. They're terrified of threats and bullying. Now this smells like Blake's PR team trying to spin why they're not coming forward.
Lawyers are stupid. It's like he's like being nice here. He's like, your lawyers are really stupid. Hunter's laptop was Russian disinformation, which was just retrospectively an insane lie, an unbelievably bold lie.
Hey there, my lovely drama darlings. This is Madison Starr, back in action with a fresh batch of Hollywood tea so hot you'd better grab oven mitts. If you thought your favorite reality show served chaos, hun, you have no idea what's been brewing inside a certain Los Angeles courtroom. Let me give you a quick heads up. We're about to dive into a spectacle that makes even the juiciest soap operas look tame. So take a sec, smash that subscribe button, and buckle up because you do not want to miss a crumb of this swirling scandal.
Blake's team filed for a slightly modified type of protection order that would include increased protections to third parties. Now, we covered this filing. I told you that essentially what was buried in it was what I would describe as the Taylor Swift club. Who does it benefit when they tell perfectly curated lies to get people really upset, to get the public very upset?
Now, you might be asking, Madison, what in the world could possibly top the usual Hollywood fuss? Well, let me paint you a picture. Blake Lively, once known for her glamorous red carpet moments and breezy interviews, apparently waltzed into a legal hearing thinking she could demand basically every morsel of personal data from none other than Justin Baldoni. Yes, the same heartthrob producer you might recognize from heartfelt TV hits. We're talking phone logs, medical records, grocery receipts, and possibly even whether the man likes pineapple on his pizza. Girl, even I wouldn't go that far. And you know I love my receipts. So gather round, besties, because the meltdown that followed was worthy of a daytime Emmy, complete with real-time face palms, a scowling judge, and an entire gallery of onlookers who probably wondered if they'd stumbled into a secret pilot for a brand new reality series.
I'm the costume designer on Gossip Girl, but anyone who works with me, I love it. It's like drinking through a fire hose. You're like, wow, I come in and I'm like, this is what we're gonna do. But it's just because I really I find that fashion is storytelling. It's a way to message so much more than you can with words. Sometimes it's a silent way to message things. So the way that I come into a character is always through the fashion and through the costumes. So
saw in another interview you said that Ryan, actually your husband Ryan Reynolds, wrote part of that rooftop scene. Is that true?
Yeah, that's, I mean, I would have to compare it to the original one, but that's 99% his. Yeah, he just added, I mean, Chrissy Hall wrote an incredible screenplay. It was, one of the reasons that I wanted to do this film, but also, there are natural tweaks and modifications that come in when the actor is hired and you're trying to infuse your own personality and your own authenticity. And it's like, women are people of multitudes. And, I think that it was important to me that it didn't just feel like someone's interpretation of like female gaze. Like it really was, this is what we like. This is what we listen to. This is what makes us feel these vibes. And we had an incredible music supervisor, Season Kent, and one of our editors, Shane Reed, who, fun fact, he was my editor on Taylor's music video that I directed. And I was obsessed with him. And I was like, this guy is amazing. And he never edited a movie before. He just finished Deadpool and Wolverine, and he came on and helped us with this one. And he has incredible taste in music. And we share the same composer as well from Deadpool and Wolverine. So there's a lot of sharing.
And oh, honey, it gets better. We have rumors about hush-hush agendas, allegations of intrusive demands, and a judge named Louis Lyman who was in no mood for petty nonsense. If that's not enough to make you ditch your to-do list and cling to your phone, I don't know what is. Got your popcorn? Perfect. Let's dig into every scandalous detail. And remember, if you're living for this level of unfiltered drama, make sure to stick around to the end, because we'll be dissecting the meltdown of all meltdowns and what it means for Miss Lively's future in Tinseltown. Trust me, babes. This is the type of story that'll have you rethinking your favorite celebrity's flawless illusions for good. Let's start at the beginning, or at least the moment the judge walked in with that "I am so not here for your antics" vibe. Picture a courtroom that's typically about as dramatic as an insurance seminar. But on this day, It's more like a big budget finale for the Hollywood Meltdown show none of us asked for but can't help watching. Blake Lively, looking polished as ever, because of course, steps in with her legal team. On the other side, you have the ever-calm Justin Baldoni, seated quietly with his own attorneys and apparently no clue that Ms. Lively is about to request enough personal data to compile a 600-page biography.
The kindest way that a judge can say to you that your lawyers are stupid. It's like he's like being nice here. He's like, your lawyers are really stupid. I'm not sure what argument they're making because I'm not sure what argument they're ever making because their entire lawsuit is just filled with contradiction.
Word on the street is that Hollywood's top legal eagles also tuned in, like physically or virtually, because they heard this showdown might redefine excessive in the legal dictionary. By the time the hearing kicked off, you could practically feel the tension. No wonder half of Tinseltown was perched on the edge of their seats. So what actually started the meltdown? Allegedly, Blake demanded the grand finale of personal info from Justin. Phone calls, text messages, medical histories, grocery runs, binge watch timestamps, you name it. It was so over the top that when the request landed on Judge Lyman's desk, you could almost hear the record scratch. Legal experts were basically blinking in unison, thinking she wants what now? I mean, imagine if your coworker wanted to know every single Uber trip you took for the last 3 years, who you were texting at 3 a.m. on a random Wednesday, and how many times you ordered pepperoni pizza. Normal? Definitely not. Strategic power move? Possibly, but oh honey, was the judge amused? Absolutely not. Speaking of the judge, let's give it up for Judge Louis Lyman, who clearly had his fill of nonsense before he even put on his robe that morning. The second Blake's lawyers tried to justify their extra value meal of personal data, Lyman shut it down so hard you'd think we were witnessing a triple axel figure skating routine, except with legal briefs instead of skates.
You are not able to hold a logical thought, but guess what? I, as a judge, I am able to hold a logical thought. So we're going to slap that down. You obviously cannot. That's my brother from another mother, and you're messing with my cousin, and I'm pregnant. Let's see up here. Leading the pack of people, because we're psychotic and we're checking your filings every day. And we said, oh, look, yeah, she's filing for more protection to protect, she thinks it's confidential documents. We just read through this. We showed the public that's what you're doing. Distinguish between the two, what a standard court protective order is and what Blake Lively's team is asking for, which is an attorney's eyes only designation. And under your skin, I'm so excited. I'm under their skin. Blake and Ryan are watching.
Various insiders say that the judge's tone went from mildly curious to this close to calling the whole request incompetent. He essentially told them, in more formal legalese, y'all are out of line, and by the way, none of this is relevant to the alleged smear campaign. This might be the biggest legal nope we've seen in ages. The result? Blake's team left standing there like they just had the wind knocked out of them. Meanwhile, the gallery was trying to contain giggles and secondhand embarrassment because watching a star's counsel get a comedic slam from a judge? Priceless. Now, here's where the drama dial goes from a 5 to a solid 11. Word is that Blake Lively, typically so collected in public, had a literal meltdown the instant the judge dismissed her demands. Eyewitness accounts describe her doing a double take between her lawyers and the judge, eyes this wide, mouth agape like she just discovered her phone was missing. If you think I'm exaggerating, babe, the hush that fell over the courtroom says otherwise. It wasn't just a meltdown that stunned folks. It was how fast it happened. 1 second, we see the polished star perched like everything's under control. The next, it's Meltdown City.
Started this lawsuit, and you said that this campaign began in August 2024, and now you're suddenly asking me to see text message dating back to 2022. You are not able to hold a logical...
Is dumb, and I mean really dumb. She has told on herself so many times, and people digging up old...
Rumor has it the tension had been building for months between paparazzi hunts, swirling rumor mills about secret deals, and the ongoing friction with Justin. So maybe she just snapped, you know? Let's talk about the actual purpose behind such a big ask. Why did Blake's team think they needed every scrap of data from Justin's life? Some theories. Fishing for a smoking gun. Perhaps she thought if she had every text or call log, she could find some damning evidence of Justin orchestrating something, a secret scheme, a giant rumor factory. Who knows? Protecting her image, word on the street is that Blake's had it with negative press. She might have believed rummaging through Justin's phone would expose the source of all these nasty rumors, letting her redeem her name in one sweeping aha moment. In Tinseltown, big stars often rely on intimidation. Bury your opponent under requests for info so they get spooked or can't keep up with the legal fees. Could this have been a flex? Give me your entire digital footprint or else. Regardless of the motivation, the judge saw it as a massive overreach, and just like that, a meltdown was born. When news of the meltdown leaked, you can bet the entire celeb blogosphere had a field day. My feed blew up with everything from Blake's meltdown dooms her career to Justin Baldoni is definitely plotting a behind-the-scenes expose. People are imaginative, let me tell you. Theory 1, Blake was convinced Justin had some tell-all project waiting in the wings, possibly featuring embarrassing tidbits about her personal life, so she tried to sniff out what info he really had. Theory 2, there was a looming blackmail threat and Blake assumed the evidence lived somewhere in Justin's phone or online footprint because sure, who doesn't store blackmail material in their grocery delivery receipts? Theory 3, this was simply a meltdown triggered by too much stress. Paparazzi invasions, repeated gossip humiliations, and the feeling that she had to do something big to regain control. After all, if you're cornered, you lash out, right? Social media, of course, erupted into warring factions. Team Blake defending her right to stand up for herself, Team Baldoni accusing her of crossing personal boundaries. And then you have the casual spectators, munching popcorn, reposting meltdown memes, and just generally living for the drama. If you thought the meltdown was big, wait till you hear how the headlines describe the judge's rejection of Blake's request. A fiasco, a total flop, cringeworthy, you name it. The tabloids basically took the meltdown and ran with it, printing front page pieces about how Blake Lively's legal strategy just self-destructed in record time. Harsh? Yes, but that's Hollywood, babe. Now, the meltdown overshadowed the rest of the hearing to such an extent that half the reporters forgot to mention whatever else was on the docket. Something about defamation? Possibly. Something about rumored smear campaigns? Also possible. But come on, the meltdown hogged the spotlight with bigger star power than a Kardashian cameo. Meanwhile, let's talk about the other half of this legal tango, Justin Baldoni. Was he fueling the flames or throwing sassy comebacks her way? According to rumor, nope. Instead, Justin mostly stayed quiet, releasing carefully bland statements that basically said, "I'm good, thanks." If that's not the ultimate power move, sitting back and letting your opponent flail, then I don't know what is. Of course, the internet can't handle such stoicism without turning it into its own conspiracy. Is Justin calmly biding his time, letting Blake's meltdown do all the PR damage by itself? Is he planning a bigger bombshell reveal soon? We can only guess, but the silence is loud and you better believe it's fueling the rumor mill. Once the meltdown dust settled a bit, industry watchers started asking bigger questions. Is this going to lead to more celebrities demanding every piece of personal data from anyone who might have criticized them? Are we going to see A-listers rummaging through Uber receipts whenever they feel defamed? Let's hope not, but hey, stranger things have happened in Tinseltown. The meltdown, ironically, could encourage a wave of defensive legal strategies where judges have to step in earlier to say, girl, no. Some folks consider it comedic gold that we needed a meltdown on this scale to push that conversation forward. Others find it borderline terrifying because if one star tries to rummage through your phone logs today, who's to say another star won't do it tomorrow? Let's face it, tabloids love a downfall story almost as much as fans love a redemption arc. The meltdown in open court gave them ample reason to question whether Blake's career might be sinking faster than the Titanic. Dramatic much? Sure. But that's what sells those juicy headlines. You can practically hear the bloggers typing, has Blake Lively, once the darling of the red carpet, gone off the rails? Cue a montage of her worst paparazzi photos, her rumored spats, and that newly minted meltdown meme. Throw in the phrase downward spiral for good measure, and you've got yourself a trifecta of negative press. But let's be real, Hollywood has the attention span of a caffeinated goldfish. One big hit movie or one heartfelt apology might turn the tide entirely. So is this meltdown fatal? Or just a speed bump? That's the million-dollar question. Insiders say Blake has been under immense pressure, paparazzi snapping her at every grocery run, tabloids spinning everything from who she's dining with to whether she wore the same outfit twice. If you add in rumors of questionable casting choices, some folks whisper about favors in the industry and tension with Justin that goes way back, well, that's a cocktail for meltdown mania. Perhaps she saw this legal fling as her final chance to set the record straight, to say, look, I'm not the bad guy here, and if I can get enough data from Justin's phone, I'll prove it. Problem is, the judge said, not on my watch. Now she's left picking up the pieces of a meltdown that overshadowed any valid points she might have had. Despite the meltdown, it's not like a high-profile celeb is just going to slink off quietly. Some speculate she's already planning a new legal strategy, maybe something that won't require sifting through Justin's entire existence. Or perhaps she's teaming up with a new PR firm to help her spin the meltdown into a story of passion or stress, flipping the narrative to earn some sympathy points. We've seen it before. Star has meltdown. Star confesses to feeling cornered. Star rebrands meltdown as an emotional but genuine moment. Voila, fans start cheering again. Hollywood loves a comeback, so let's not count Blake out yet. If she's got a plan, we'll see it soon enough. One meltdown can open the door to a whole host of rumors. People are now raking up old controversies, rumored spats with co-stars, questionable brand deals, contradictory statements about her personal life. And of course, folks want to know, how does Justin Baldoni factor into all this? Is there some hush-hush beef from years ago? Did Blake blame him for something that wasn't his fault? The meltdown is basically a magnet pulling in every half-forgotten rumor to swirl around anew. Folks in Tinseltown keep repeating, where there's smoke, there's fire. But with so many rumors floating around, it's hard to know which are sparks and which are just hype. Let's not forget, the meltdown blew up on social media like a 4th of July fireworks display. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, they all turned into ground zero for meltdown commentary. Memes of Blake's shocked face circulated with captions like, when you realize the judge isn't buying your storyline. Fans debated fiercely, was she right to go all in to defend herself, or did she veer into invasion of privacy territory? Suddenly, everyone's a legal expert, citing every snippet of courtroom rumor, and you know how the internet can be. Some folks decided it was a sign she's unraveling. Others think she's cunningly playing the victim. The drama cycles just keep feeding on themselves. One intriguing angle is how people see Justin's calm silence. Is it a chess game? In other words, is he biding his time, letting Blake's meltdown overshadow everything, only to come forward with a measured, damaging statement that cements his advantage in court? Or is he genuinely unbothered, just wanting to get on with his life and let the legal process handle itself? The man's known for positivity and focusing on bigger issues. That said, you don't generally let someone comb through your entire personal life without pushing back, unless you know the law is on your side. So there might be some satisfaction in letting the meltdown speak for itself. In the midst of all the glam and meltdown mania, let's not forget, these are people. Even celebrities can spiral when the pressure piles on. It's easy to judge from the outside. She's a star, she should handle it better. But the meltdown probably reflects real stress, fear of negative press, or a sense that she's losing control of the narrative. Does it excuse overreaching requests for personal data? Probably not. But it does remind us that behind the perfect hair and million-dollar smiles, there's a beating heart that can freak out too. Maybe that's the one nugget of empathy we can find in this whole fiasco. The meltdown also underscores a principle. No matter how famous you are, you can't just rummage through someone else's personal records for kicks. Judge Lyman made that point crystal clear, practically telling the entire industry, if you want to fish for secrets, you better have an actual reason, not a meltdown-driven hunch. That sets an interesting precedent. Could we see fewer outlandish demands in future celeb lawsuits? Maybe. Or maybe this meltdown is just another cautionary tale that'll get lost next time the gossip cycle latches onto a bigger scandal. Still, for now, we can relish the fact that the court said a firm no to rummaging around in personal data without due cause. So the dust is settling, sort of. But the big question remains, does Blake come back swinging, or does she retreat to let the tabloids lash onto someone else's meltdown next week? She could do a heartfelt talk show interview, tearfully acknowledging she took things too far. Or maybe she'll revamp her approach in court, focusing on arguments that don't require scanning Justin's last 50 grocery receipts. Because let's be real, the meltdown overshadowed any real claim she might have had. Hollywood watchers say it's a toss-up. She might be licking her wounds, or she might already be planning round two, hopefully less intrusive, more legally sound. The meltdown definitely gave us a new perspective on Blake's public image. Once upon a time, we saw a star who was unflappable, gracious, the embodiment of polished Hollywood. Now we see someone who can crack under pressure, who might push boundaries when she feels cornered. Some fans are sympathetic, chalking it up to she's only human. Others are questioning if this meltdown is the tip of a problematic iceberg. One meltdown doesn't define an entire career, but it can linger in the collective memory, fueling skepticism the next time she tries to present a squeaky clean persona. Hollywood has forgiven bigger messes though, so it's not an automatic career killer. A redemption arc can be just around the corner if she plays her cards right. If there's one overarching lesson from this fiasco, it's that star status won't give you a pass to rummage freely through someone else's private life. judges don't care how many Oscars you have or how many times you've stolen the show on a red carpet. Overreach is overreach. Meltdown, it's also a lesson for those who might be on the receiving end of such demands. Stand your ground. The law is on your side if someone tries to deep dive into your personal details without strong justification. In other words, if your ex-co-star wants your medical history just because, you can likely call them out in court for fishing in the wrong pond. It's not that Blake or any celeb lacks the right to defend themselves, but the meltdown moment suggests that in her quest to protect her image, she went way too far. Some folks see this as a cautionary tale about the fine line between legitimate legal defense and privacy invasion. Because once the meltdown overshadowed everything, her entire legal strategy sank faster than leftover confetti after New Year's. Now, you know how Tinseltown is always hungry for new drama. With so many celebrities stepping into controversies daily, it's possible that in a few weeks or months, the meltdown will become old news. Another star scandal might push it off the front page. Maybe a new movie role or a philanthropic cause will overshadow it. But for now, it's definitely the talk of the town, and the memes won't let anyone forget it soon. Let's zoom out for a second. Even if you're not a star, the meltdown highlights how quickly a quest for answers can spiral into a full-on meltdown if you're not careful. Boundaries matter. Legal, ethical, personal. And yeah, if you ask for too much, a judge might not only say no, but also deliver a scathing takedown. And you really don't want to be the star of that show. As the hearing ended, the vibe was apparently half secondhand embarrassment, half comedic relief. People were packing their briefcases, possibly checking if they'd left the stove on, and definitely texting their group chats with the blow-by-blow of Blake's meltdown. Meanwhile, the judge likely popped an aspirin because dealing with that level of drama before lunchtime, not what most judges signed up for. Now, the tabloids are screaming about how Blake's meltdown signals the end of an era, or is she unhinged? But from a practical standpoint, the meltdown's biggest impact is the legal precedent that a star can't demand your entire digital footprint just because they sense negativity in the air. That's good news for Justin Baldoni, who now doesn't have to hand over every single text from the past few years. It's also a small victory for everyday folks who'd hate to see a world where any A-lister can subpoena your phone for tea on a whim. Will Blake refile some nearer request? Is Justin preparing a scorched earth response, or is he just letting Blake's meltdown bury her own case? Could this meltdown alter how studios view Blake's reliability? Or will the industry just shrug and say, meltdown or not, she's a star, we still want her on the marquee? We don't know yet. But we do know one meltdown rarely remains the final word in a city that thrives on comebacks and reboots. At this point, folks are either sipping their tea, cackling at meltdown memes, or dissecting the story for life lessons. No matter which camp you're in, the meltdown stands as a testament. Celebrity status doesn't give you a green light to rummage around someone's personal life like you're searching for a lost earring in a couch cushion. Even a Hollywood A-lister can get smacked down in court publicly for overreaching. And for Blake, well, let's see if she can pivot. She might reemerge with an interview calmly explaining the meltdown, chalking it up to a moment of stress. She might release a statement about feeling cornered by negativity. She might do nothing at all, hoping the news cycle moves on to the next fiasco. Regardless, the meltdown is now part of her narrative. Whether it becomes a footnote or a defining chapter depends on her next moves. All right, babes, that's the tea spilled all over the courtroom floor, thanks to one meltdown that escalated from unusual request to what in the world, faster than you can say paparazzi frenzy. We had Blake Lively pushing for so much personal data that the judge practically rolled his eyes into next week. A meltdown so nuclear that it overshadowed the entire hearing. Justin Baldoni playing it cool, so cool in fact, that conspiracy theories are swirling about his next big move. A judge's epic "no way Jose" moment, which set a crystal clear precedent about privacy rights. And now we're all left with the question, where do we go from here? Will Blake's meltdown fade into Hollywood lore? Or will she rocket back with a fresh strategy that's less intrusive? Is Justin silently celebrating, or is he planning his own legal checkmate? One thing's for sure, Tinseltown rarely stays quiet for long. The meltdown might be the headline of the week, but give it a month and who knows what fresh scandal will dethrone it. Still, if you enjoyed watching the fireworks, don't you dare forget to like, share, and subscribe to yours truly, Madison Starr. I'm the queen of front row seats for Hollywood's biggest blow-ups. Now it's your turn, honey. Sound off in the comments. What do you think? Did Blake cross a line with that demand for personal data, or was she just protecting her brand? Are you on Team Blake, Team Baldoni, or Team literally anyone who respects boundaries? Spill your opinions. I'm dying to read them all. Until next time, my gossip gang, keep sipping that tea, keep living your best life, and remember, sometimes even the shiniest celebrities can have a meltdown that makes us mere mortals feel just a tiny bit better about our own days. Stay messy, stay blessed, and I'll catch you on the next scandalous update. Madison Star out.